If you have been liking what you've been hearing and watching, then please do like, subscribe, share, and comment in whichever order, but do subscribe. Welcome back to my first step ever. If you have just tuned into this episode, then I have just one thing for you to say. That's a great idea because for the next 25 minutes, I'm going to take you through or talk you through story of a person whose life went from uncertainties to an empowered and fulfilled life. So please join me in welcoming a leader in the Australian fitness industry, an author, a speaker, master coach, and most importantly, a friend to help you see the brighter side of the life. Adrian Lea. Hi, Adrian. Welcome on my first step ever.
Hello, and thank you for having me. I'm super excited today, Ashani. And as I said prior, I'm probably a little too energized for our episode today, but hopefully I can tame it down and give you some good quality value, and hopefully the listeners will be able to take some good things away to implement into their life.
I'm very sure about that, and I love your energy, so keep that going for this episode as well. So, Adrian, thank you so much, first of all, and it's a pleasure to have you on this show. I'm really happy that you're willing to help out our young, aspiring leaders and students across the globe to understand some really important aspects of life, especially health and fitness, the area that you really, really are leading in and training our industry veterans everywhere. So, your story currently says that you're a master coach in fitness and LinkedIn lead generations, which also means that you have done 10,000 over personal training sessions, and you have many more accolades that shine in your bag of achievement right now. But I see that your story was a little different from what it is right now when you were born, brought up, and then you were living in your teens. So could you take us through the early life in the countryside, as you say, and why did you wish to suddenly want to, get out of that and just be in the profession that you're in?
Okay, so firstly, I think I grew up in like more of an entrepreneurial family. So my dad had his own business. He was a carpenter, and then he became like a home builder in the town of Shepparton. And dad and mum both, but more so like mum was very active. So mum never worked past 32, I think. She was just more of a stay-at-home mum to support dad. And mum was very active. So mum was like, loved tennis. She loves bowls. She loves being social. And I think that's where I got a lot of the social qualities from mum. But dad was very much reserved. He liked his own privacy. And I love that too. I'm very private as well. I don't like to share heaps of everything, but sometimes I do because that's the social side of mum coming out. But essentially, there were things that mum and dad ingrained in me from a very early age. And that one thing was work ethic. So if I wanted anything in life, I had to make my own way to get there. So therefore I'd have to walk to get a job or to go and look for work. They would get me up at a certain time every morning, and I'd be out the door, and I'd be walking down with my resumes and that they'd help me put together, and I'd go and find a job. Because there were things in life that I wanted. And as a young person, I grew up in my parents are quite older. So I'm 37 now. Mum is like 78. If mum's watching this, please don't, if I've got the age wrong, mum, please don't hurt me. And dad passed away a few years ago. So about 4 or 5 years ago now, dad passed away and he was 86. So growing up, I felt very uncomfortable with, especially, like when you're just finding yourself as a young person. I was kind of embarrassed around that. But the things that they taught me, life skills, of why I'm having the success I am right now in life. And I'm not saying that for ego. I'm not trying to impress anyone. I'm saying it to impress upon you that it's the consistency of those things that pay off over time, right? So, and fitness was the foundation for that. So early on, mum got me active. She got me into sports. She got me into, to whatever. But eventually, I found the weight room at 17, the weights room, the gym, and I joined my first gym at like a sports stadium, and it was very much a bodybuilding style, like athletic sort of gym. and I met some awesome people there, and that's where my love for fitness really started to get started. And I haven't stopped since. I've trained pretty much every week, unless I've had a week off since that time. But it's more so those life habits, and what it teaches you is to be present. It teaches you to slow down and be present in the moment and focus on what you're actually doing. And these days, in a world where everyone is fast paced, until recently in the last year, where people have had to slow down because we've been forced to do that, and they've been forced to stay at home and think about life. And that is the key, right? Thinking, but then taking action. So that's where the journey started. And I got my first job, and then I moved to Melbourne when I was around 22 for more opportunity, because I was a little different than most people. I had some close friends, but I was just very hungry for more, to grow, to learn, to evolve, and to, more importantly, progress, because that's what life is about. If you progress in life, automatically you progress in other areas. You're happy. You're a happy person generally, because you're progressing, you're moving forward. And fitness then aligns with your relationships. You have better relationships. You have a better work environment because you're happier. You have, chances are, your finances will be in check, right? All those things. So you'll just be happier in all areas of life. And yeah, so that's where it all started. And it's just evolved from there into family life, and it's just life now. So yeah, that's a bit of the story.
Really glad that you answer that question in that depth, because I think that top three things that I see, and I'm really happy that the listeners can really understand and take out from your story. The first thing, I think that was your environment that you grew in, which actually taught you the right skills for living life, for being fulfilled, what really matters, and discipline is the key. So that's really nice that you had that from the very beginning, and I'm really happy that our listeners are getting to see the result of this in your story, in the way you speak, in the way you do your job. So if any one of you are really interested to know what Adrian is really doing, please check out his LinkedIn account, and much more from there you'll see. And you see that what discipline and all this different tips that his parents has told him has really helped him out. Second thing that you said, that we need to really slow down and think before we do things, and which was very rightly said. And the third thing that you said was regarding your career, that you always wanted to progress, do more, and always wanted to grow, and that's life that you just mentioned. So lovely. I'm really happy to listen to that, because now the second question that comes to my mind is that, so when you thought of starting your own venture, what was the challenges you faced as a first time entrepreneur, but also because you had sort of a background, not you but your parents, you saw that while growing up, did that in any way help you?
When Dad passed away, I went through emotional. I was in emotional state because Dad was he was very much a key part of my life. He was a mentor. He was like my best friend. And I went through like that grieving phase that everyone goes through. But it taught me that life is so short. One quote that I really cling to, and I look at every single day, right? So there's two things here. One is to keep death close, right? So what that means is that it's not to think about that you're going to die today. What it is to live with urgency. Now is the time, not I'm too busy. Well, guess what? Like, it's just an excuse. It's priority, right? And maybe you're not living a fulfilling life. Maybe you're not doing something that really gets you fired up every day, that launches you out of bed. So for me, I went through some of that pain and that, but what come out of it is I thought, you know what? Now's the time to shine. I'd had some, I did some of my own research. I started doing some self-development before work. So what I did is the challenging things that were happening in early on was, number one, I was hungry to get out of my job, right? I was getting paid really well. However, I used that to start leverage and learning on how to build like a business, right? So the first thing I did was I had, say, 8 months of annual leave. So I said, you know what? I'm taking 8 months off.
Lovely.
So I took 8 months off. I went out and used my network, right? So I'd already started building a network on LinkedIn in the early days. I leveraged my network and my connections through the construction industry. And I started to go out into, the company head offices and do group training at lunchtime. So I spent 8 months doing that. And then I was like, I was like, this is kind of time for money. I'm traveling a lot. It's, I'm not really loving it. And I was like, how can I leverage it? So I thought I'll hire a business coach. So that was the first thing. I hired a business coach that I knew, love, and trusted, who I'd been following for a couple of years. And I engaged him for his services. And then we ended up working together for 3+ years. And my point is that during that journey, it was okay for me to let go of that face-to-face, right? So I had someone who was giving me direction, and he said to me, Adrian, what is it that you really want to do? I was like, I really want to do this online thing because, I want to have a family. I want to be home with my child and my wife, and I want to support them on that journey. So I need to start thinking about that. And that was that was the time I was like, I'm just going to go hard, and we're not going to have a family until I have that freedom, which is financial freedom to bring someone else into the world and give them what they need without the stress and worry about finances and things like that. So I went back to work. I hired another coach who'd been and done what I wanted to do. He built multi-million-dollar fitness business. He was he was a veteran in the industry. That means he paved the way for online. And I hired him, and so we had a game plan it was 12 months. So we made a goal for 12 months to get out of my full-time job again. And he goes, you know what, Adrian, you need to halve that. So we halved it, and then we took another month off, 2 months off, 4 months. So I went back to work for 4 months. And every day I was just focused on the things that I could control. So for the online world, all you need is your phone so you can shoot video and create content. And 2, you need a calendar booking so you can take calls, so you can book people in for a call. So now, out of all the things I could focus on, such as shiny objects, like websites, all these fancy funnels and stuff, and they all play in a role, but not in the beginning. Simplicity is the key, right?
Amazing.
Simple. And you've got to move fast. You don't see a sprinter, right, dressed up like he's going to a wedding, and he's going to take his kitchen sink and all his valuables with him. No, he travels light and he moves fast. So that's my mentality, right? Phone, shoot content, put it on Instagram, put it on Facebook, put it on LinkedIn. Then you need to be able to connect with your market. So you need to be able to have a conversation. You need to build an audience, right? And you need a strategy behind it. So there's no guesswork. That's what I did. In 4 months to the day, it was April 16. I think it was April 15 that I left my job, and I was out on the online world and I haven't gone back since. Now, here's the thing. There's been a lot of ups and downs. Lots of ups and downs. It ain't easy. And most people will fail. But here's my big advice for anyone starting a business, right? You need to support yourself. You need to have a job. You need to then support yourself with that income and then build this other thing. It's going to take time, right? So no matter the marketing that you see online these days, right, it's probably going to take 5 times that long. So whatever you see on Facebook ads or in the market saying, hey, 5x your income in 4 seconds. No, it's marketing hype. The reality thing is that if you want to grow a business, it's probably going to take you 10 years. Are you willing to put in the work for that time? If you're not, then don't even get started. For me, I'm in it for the long game. Why? Because the foundation of fitness is all about long-term sustainable habits, not a quick fix.
That's
Very simple.
yeah. Please go on.
No, so like today I go through the same challenge as anyone else. However, one thing I've learned along the way is to build relationships,
Yeah,
is to network, is to leverage your network, is
yeah.
to build partnerships and referrals, give back to the community, serve them, reward them, make them want to be part of your vision, right? And your journey.
So I see goal setting has been a major, drive, but more than that, it is your own, passion for the fitness industry, and that you really believe in this. And one thing that I see common is that you approached a coach that who had done exactly what you wanted to and has done really well, and you kind of went up to that person and want to learn that as soon as possible everything. But one thing I think you mentioned very correctly, like someone who's starting off right now, are aspiring leaders, students, graduate in whichever field they are listening to you right now, I think they've really got that golden nuggets from what you were mentioning, that it takes time, but you really need to be consistent and keep building upon it. So thank you for sharing your personal journey. I see it also takes a lot of inner strength, inner capabilities. And now that the world is changing at very rapid speed and there's so much uncertainty around us, it also creates a kind of chaos in our own minds. So, how do you use your inner strength to deal with the chaos and keep your inner feelings, your mind, your body so peaceful that whatever is happening outside, you're okay to go out in the world?
Great question. Focus on the things that you can control. So the things that you can control are your habits, whether you exercise or not, whether you eat healthy food, whether you feed your brain with, books and learnings and whatever, whether it's a podcast or this, episode right now. But those are the things. Focus on what you want, not what you don't want. So, like, and some of these things could sound like a bit cheesy in a way, but it's so true, right? Because if I focus on what is happening on the TV, that's not going to move the needle in my life. It's not going to impact anyone around me apart from bring them down. And if you look at the last year, if you look at the environment we're in, people just need a bit more positivity.
Absolutely.
Like, we've all been through the struggles, every single one of us. But how about sharing a bit of positivity? Inspiring people to take action, walk away with one thing today and just build momentum. So, yeah, focusing on those things that you can control. There's so many things I could say right now about self-development and entrepreneurship and all that. But essentially, it's a person-to-person thing. Like fitness, focus on those things you can control. And yeah, and I think the last thing is listen to what you're saying to others. So what are the words that are coming out of your mouth? Because what happens is that they bleed into everything that you do. If you take shortcuts in one area, chances are you're going to take shortcuts in other areas. For example, those people at the supermarket who get something from the fruit and veg aisle, and then you see the fruit and veg ending up in the freezer aisle, on the opposite side of the supermarket, because they don't want to put it back. Those little things, right? They're the shortcuts that you take in your life. And the reality is that, if you're wanting to build a business or become better in any area, whether it's your work or career or, your fitness or your mindset or whatever, right? Then you've just got to focus on those things that you can control and stay true to yourself. Don't kid yourself. Don't lie to yourself. Call it as it is. Surround yourself with people who have done it before. Because I'll give you an example, right? So I've got 3 coaches at the moment in my life. So I spend a substantial amount of money each year, right? Except I don't need coaching to go into membership portals and find information. Success loves speed. I want the answers now. So I go to the people who I pay them for the answers. Tell me what I need to do and I'll pull the trigger and I'll get my team to support this. That's what it's about. Like if I want to, work out how to do it like a maximum deadlift, I'm going to hire a coach. I'm an online trainer, right?
Yep.
Right? But I don't know everything. And I don't want to know everything. And I don't want to be the best personal trainer in the world. There's many other people way better than me. Except there's skills that I've learned along the way that most people don't have or will never have in their life. Right? And that one thing is being able to, one, build a team really fast and delegate things that are not in your genius, not in your 2 to 5%, right? Such as, for example, right? I'm not an SEO specialist on websites. So what did I do? Found someone who's an expert. Same thing with graphic design. I'm not an expert in graphic design. So what did I do? Found someone who's an expert at that. Same thing. I don't go and try and pull my own teeth out. I go to a dentist. If I want to get my car fixed, I don't do it myself because it's not in my genius, right? It's not the best use of my time on this planet. I'd rather find someone else who is highly passionate about that for them to do it. So, yeah, you just got to get started. The key is to build momentum and you find out your own journey. Actually, there's this book by Dr. Seuss. I'll have to send you a photo of it. Wish I had it here.
I would love to see that. I just want to emphasize on something that you just mentioned, and I think that trickles down and kind of has a people can take out really good meaning out of that when you mention that if I'm not good at everything, because a person is he can be good at certain things but not everything, and you are not really shy to admit it, or no one should be shy to admit it, and you are willing to give the other person who was really good in that the that particular moment to him that you're really good at it, please come and help me with that. And it's a collaborative process, it's a team building process, and it's a team building mindset that you have, that you work together with someone. And I think that's amazing, because at this age, if people are young, their college life, universities, if you're listening to this, I think it's a very good mindset that you can start building on. If you know your strength and if you know your group mate's strength, you know how to take that thing forward as a team member. And that's something that's really good that you touched upon, Adrian, right now. And I was just thinking in that different multiple ways that people can make use of it. So really thank you for bringing that up. Besides everything that you mentioned, it was so I really love the example that you had given for the retail store, which really
Yeah.
makes me feel that the small habits of yours, they really determine what you'll be doing in different areas of your life. So really, one needs to be mindful and conscious of what you're really doing, what you're saying, as you just mentioned. Moving forward, as you said that you do not want to be the best, fitness coach in the world, but you have mastered your skills, and simple is the best policy to go forward with. And that is something that I sort of saw on your profile, that you started to talk about just about postures, and that is so basic of our own lifestyle, the way we sit and everything. That was so true, because although everyone is there to help you with fitness and everything, but that is the root cause, your posture, how what we're doing at. So I think I really like the preposition that you've put out there, and that how you help your clients out with. So if you would like to give any top 3 tips to our listeners today regarding that, so I would be really happy to listen to
In
that.
regards to fitness,
Yes, yes.
okay, this is really easy,
Okay.
right? Number 1, simplify your exercise routine, right? So what that simply means is if you're not someone who goes to the gym, then don't go to the gym. If you're wanting to reshape your body, then you're going to have to do something that's going to cause a stimulus for that muscle, more importantly, to grow. So essentially, you just need to do some time of weight-bearing activity, whatever that looks like for you, and that you can be consistent with. All right. So maybe you don't care about that. Maybe it's just being active. Whatever it is, simplify it. Don't overthink it. all right, in the beginning. Number 2, simplify your nutrition. Eat real foods. We all know what real foods are, all right? If we go back centuries ago, what did most people eat? Like the caveman days, they lived off the earth. Real food, right? It's going to nourish you, energize you, give you the mental clarity, the focus, the happiness, everything, lower stress, all by eating real food. As an example, right, I keep it really simple. I just eat 3 meals a day and maybe a protein shake after the gym, right, a plant-based one. But I eat like 3 times a day, mainly like meat and veg. That's it. And then at dinner, so I can aid in my sleep, which is highly important, I eat more carbohydrates. Yeah. So I eat more sweet potatoes, rice, things like that. Remember, I'm staying active, which means the more active you are, the more carbohydrate you can eat to refuel the body. Okay, and that's, like I said, that's case-to-case nutrition. Keep it simple. Simplify your nutrition, eat real food. Third part, simplify your thinking. Get out in Mother Nature, right, without distractions. Maybe go for a bushwalk, go hiking. Just do something out in Mother Nature where you're not being distracted by other people and your phone, social media, anything like that. The simple things in life, right? Walking, water, sleep, activity, very simple. But the problem is that people are too distracted and focused on things that don't actually matter. 99% of things don't matter. How's that? Most things don't matter, right? What does? What does matter? That's up to people to find out. For me, simple life is a happy life. Right?
Lovely. I think just by when I hear you saying go simple in your life, simplify things, that automatically brings down the kind of pressure that you build in your head about how you're going to go forward. And that's why I think I'm so happy and pleased to have you on the podcast, because it really aligns with what we're trying to tell people out there. Take small steps, take simple steps to reach your goal. It's not going to happen overnight. So thank you, Adrian. It was amazing. And I really like this half an hour that I spent over here talking to you. I hope our listeners have also. And I so have you enjoyed sharing your story. Just before you leave, I do this with every guest speaker who have come over here. Are you able to leave us with a quote for our listeners, a saying or a quote that you really resonate with?
Oh, time flies when you're having fun, but quotes. All right. I actually have one here. It's one of my favorite quotes. It's by Bruce Lee.
Oh, wow. I want to hear that.
It's not the daily increase, but the daily decrease. Hack away at the unessential. Simplify.
If you have been liking what you've been hearing and watching, then please do like, subscribe, share, and comment in whichever order, but do subscribe. And I want to see you next with a new episode. Let me know what really speaks out to you in these episodes. If you like something, or if you would like to hear one particular person that you really want to network with or really like. Thank you and see you next week.